The system doesn't just run on prices. It runs on people. It needs new buyers. It needs the confidence. It needs transactions. But right now, all three are hitting the wall at the same time. We're reaching a participation crisis. The market is moving, but the people are staying still. Before we look into the entire math and we decipher everything, I want to know the reality on the ground. In your area, are people still panicking to get in, or they're just shifting into the mode, wait and see what will happen? I would also like to share a story with you folks. I received a call from a friend of mine. He's a big builder, developer, construction, and all of that stuff. Big projects, small projects, Toronto, GTA, and the Southern Ontario. And I remember, okay, during the pandemic, it was nuts. Like every time I would call the guy, every time we would speak, he's short on time, he's being extremely busy, and he's even saying, look, no time, I need more people, there's so much work to get done. On top of that, I can charge whatever I want. I remember that. I was like, what do you mean? Right? He's like, look, it is what it is. You just charge and people pay. As simple as that. So then I said, so what is the problem right now? Because I hear and I sense that you're breathing a little bit heavy, right? So over, I would say, a couple of months, like I know that he has a large real estate portfolio and he's contemplating what to do. So for a few years now, like he's watching my videos and we're kind of talking back and forth, and he has my direct number and we speak. And he's like, look, you know, back in the day, I said prices will go down, and he said, not a chance. So the prices did fall, right? And then now he's like, okay, look, we're in 2026. I've seen it all. This is the bottom. It cannot go further than that. I said, how so? Like, what makes you believe we cannot pass this particular moment? And then we got into his portfolio, and we got into some of his personal stuff that obviously I will not share, but he's like, he admitted that all the taxes that he has on home and some of his real estate portfolio, the commercial and industrial and stuff like that, is eating into his cash flow, and he feels that things are tightening and there's not so much happening and what is going on, and we hit the bottom and something needs to happen and all of that stuff. I said, hold on a second. Why would you say that we hit the bottom, right? And then when we got into the conversation, I said, like, look, the average home is $1 million, right? And the entry level, it's not there. Obviously, the entry level is not $1 million home anyways, but even the entry level people cannot collect the down payment. It'll take them an eternity to collect it, right? And then he brought up another point, as usual. He said, well, hold on a second, but you know, they have parents that will gift them their homes, generational wealth, and all of that stuff. I said, fine. But nowadays, same way you have issues with the cash flow, right? Generating all of that fuel, all of that money in order to sustain yourself in business, in private life, and everywhere else, right? Same issues retirees have, or people that have to keep their home because it's a cash cow, right? You heard of reverse mortgages. Some of my friends in the bank said this is the worst thing you can take because of so many reasons. I don't know details, but this is what they said. So like everybody needs that cash cow, whether you're entering the market, whether you're retiring, whether you're running a multi-million-dollar business. So it seems like that pressure is adding up from every single angle. And I told him I still believe today that there's still room for improvement when it comes to price, right? Because we cannot sustain our price in order for the new buyers and everyone else to collectively boost the economy and based on the earnings that shift happens where it's, I would say, what's the word, that it makes sense. Because now we're talking, 9 to 12 times the average income, right, to buy a property. It doesn't make any sense at all, right? And investors are losing on every corner, right? Like now, the first fleet, I would say, of investors since the peak, they lost everything. And we know, like the statistics showed that these folks are buried, right? And we have the highest, I would say, number of condos that will close in 2025 and 2026, over 20,000 units. So we need to absorb this somewhere. We need the confidence in field, in employment, in every segment, so people feel comfortable, right? Because I first of all, I have no idea what people were actually thinking when they were buying these homes at the peak and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars like it's nothing, like no process of thought or consequence, I would say. And the question for me always was, what are you hoping for? You are overpaying to beat your neighbors and friends and all these multiple offers that are on the table, right? And how are you planning to give this money back? How are you planning to confidently sign these mortgage documents? And I know at the time that the mortgage would fit maybe their income, right? Because the mortgage was at ultimate, ever low, probably never will happen. This period will never return. But they stretched themselves 110%. So every time I would bring up that question, what happens if the interest rate rises? And 9.5 out of 10, no word of a lie, 9.5 out of 10 said they cannot do it. Government will not do it because it doesn't make any sense. Our payments will skyrocket and all of that stuff, right? And guess what is happening right now? 1.2 million mortgage renewals in 2025, 6 and ongoing. So obviously the bank is there to make money, and the bank is there to adjust on inflation and everything else, because this formula is not simple. Like real estate formula is not simple, but the process is very simple. Can you actually afford it? And is there any room if stuff happens to you? So please comment below. I really want to finally see in the comments if people are still waiting, if they're on the sidelines, if they still believe that there's room for improvement, because that's something that's really, I think it's divided. Like people are 100% divided. So I have another question. If first-time buyers are priced out, who do you think buys the starter homes? This is a big one. Institutional investors or no one at all? So you can type in the comments what you believe when it comes to the first-time buyers or investors at this moment. I hope you get something out of this video. Please like, hype this video, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.